What up, everybody? You're now tuned into Jaguars Daily. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, and I'm going to give you Jags News Daily. What's going on, family? How's everybody doing? Hey, excuse the voice. I may sniffle a little bit here and there. It got a little something going on. You know how it is. When the baby gets sick, everybody gets sick. So, you know how it goes, man. But, man, we're going to talk more free agents today. Probably talk a few prospects from the combine since that's kicking off in a day or so. I know they're weighing in and medical checks and all of that and shaking hands and meeting people, and agents are making deals, are already tampering and things of that nature. But we're going to continue to talk about a few free agents, some that's likely, some that's not likely. See how I did that right there? But yeah, man. So we're gonna jump straight into it, man. We got Isaiah Likely. And I bring up Isaiah Likely because I've heard fans. Some of you commented on the video. Someone have commented on when I post the videos, the link to the videos in Facebook or whatever. Guys have commented about Isaiah Likely, and it got me to thinking about Isaiah Likely. And I'm like, man, I like Isaiah Likely. I've been a huge fan of that dude, man. He's the only thing about him is, number one, is the price tag. What would it cost? Because I think him and Brenton Stranger work. Because I mean, Hunter Long and Johnny Munt, they got outplayed by Quentin Morris, and Quentin Morris is somebody too that Jaguars, I would say they should consider bringing back. But if you can get your hands on Isaiah Likely, you may go with a cheaper option, maybe a draft pick or something like that, instead of bringing back Quentin Morris. But Quentin Morris was tight end too. He worked his way up to tight end too. But Isaiah Likely comes in and he's an immediate receiving threat down the field. He has improved his run blocking, which is big. That is huge, to improve his run blocking, because now I can have you on the field when I run the football. So when you come on the field, we're not tipping our hands saying that we're passing the ball because you can't block like we want you to or like you need to. So, but Isaiah Likely is the uber talented, man. And number two is consistency. Consistency, because dude, he will make plays that a small man makes. He makes plays that a smaller man make. For him to be that big, that fast, have that much wiggle, his stop and start, like he's like David Njoku. Remember, I first saw Njoku, and I'm like, dude, this dude is athletic. But Isaiah Likely, I think he's more athletic. He's got a little more bend to him. He's a little faster, straight line. And I don't even think he's reached his potential, man. That catch over Jalen Ramsey, that almost catch against Kansas City where his toe was, right there. It was right there, right there. The black of the cleat was kissing the white, man. It was right there, man. Dude, it's just, are the Jaguars interested? Are they interested? Do they value the position in that way to go get a Isaiah Likely? Don't know. Don't know. They may think Brenton Strange is enough, Quentin Morris, and add a draft pick or two to the bunch, and they roll with that. But Isaiah Likely is top notch. Like he's a guy that I would definitely target. I would definitely look into, at least to find out how much he wants, because the case is already made for him in the offense. That's the problem. Now will be you valuing the position to pay him whatever he wants, and just him being consistent. And I think in this offense, he would thrive. He would thrive because he immediately comes in, and it's death by this. The offense is death by 1,000 cuts, man. So you're not going to be able to key in on really anybody, and if you do, other guys are going to beat you. When teams, I think the Broncos had it made up in their mind that they were going to stop Brian Thomas Jr. and not let him beat, which was a great plan. I will give him that, because if you don't want somebody to beat you, that's the dude you don't want to beat you, because he can beat you all up and down the field with his vertical speed. But then you left your CB3 on Parker Washington. And shoot, even times when it was your CB2, cooked them, absolutely cooked them. So now with Isaiah Likely, the middle of the field with him and Britton Strange, you kind of salivate a little bit just thinking about it. You think about that meal that you love, and the taste you get in your mouth, and you're just like, man, your lady calls, say, hey, I made whatever you like, and you're like, really? I'm on my way. That right there, him and Britton Strange in the middle of the field. I'm telling you, man, it's all of that. It's all of that in a bag of chips, man. But I'm gonna leave it right there. And we're going to talk about somebody who's a little more likely, probably won't happen, and it might be a shock to you because if you're a Jaguar fan and you have not followed him since he's left Jaguars, you're like, who? That guy? You got to be kidding me, Brandon. That dude that was that video of him that went viral of him in the sand doing pass rush moves, looking like a little brother, a little kid brother fighting off a big teenage brother. That right there, that guy, that's who you're talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about that guy, man. If you have not followed Chaisson and seen how he's blossomed and as he's gone into his prime and as he's gotten better coaching and then probably and he's probably changed his routine. He takes the game more seriously. He's matured. He's grown up. He understands the work that needs to be put in. He's a pro now. Just looking at the guy and looking at what he's accomplished. Just last year with the Patriots, even before that, I mean, his Patriots run is good, but he was also great with the Raiders, So, Chaisson, you need another edge. You do. You need another edge. Now, edge is not a top priority, though. This is the only thing. Edge is not a top priority. Caleb isn't going to come at a ridiculous price, but he's probably out of the price range of the Jags. Who knows? Don't know. But Caleb can come in and be exactly what he was in New England, man. That dude has been physical. He's been absolutely physical watching him. Now, and he's I guess by position it's linebacker. So you're looking at maybe bringing him in and he'll probably take snaps away from Dennis Gardeck or Yasir Abdullah at the Sam linebacker position. But he can play on the edge. I mean, he's versatile. So, I mean, he's a pass rusher. That's the concern. We're getting more pass rusher guys who can rush the passer in here. And Chaisson can do that. Yes, man. It's amazing to see because, I mean, and this is not, it's not crazy to see that a guy like him who flopped here goes somewhere and has been successful, man. Look at Quincy Williams. Yeah, look at Brandon Marshall. Look at those linebackers, man. Those guys have played well, man. So Caleb Chaisson is an option now, and I when I heard the name, I was like, oh, he's a free agent, and I'm thinking about the fit, and I'm like, man, it's all dependent on the regime, what they value, what they think is a priority, and what his price tag is, because I think because was Caleb 28? I think he's 28 years old. Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about a guy you're going to get a couple more years of production out of. I mean, he's already known in the city, so he can come here and show Jacksonville, like, look here, it wasn't me, it was the prior regime, and he can say that now. He can say that now. If Jacksonville fans ever try to troll him, say anything to him, bring up the video on the beach or say anything to him, all he has to do is, hey, do a video, get some pictures of the prior regime, put them above his head, and point to him, say, right there, right there. Now, of course, he would take accountability for whatever part that he feels he needs to be accountable for and what he did and did not do. But it's very clear coaching matters, and Caleb Chaisson has showed us, and he's grown up, man. So I think he'd be a great addition. He'll be a great addition to this rotation and to this pass rush, but it's something that's not that likely to happen, because today is about things that are not likely. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Because we think they like this person, we think that this is a priority for them, we think this and we think that, and they do something totally different. So it's all guesswork at this point. So we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna talk about a guy who just I didn't hardly know much of anything about him. I think it was 2023. I think it was. Yes. It was 2023 because the Jaguars had what's the receiver? He's with the Titans now. He was here. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley. They had Calvin Ridley on the team, and they went to London to play Buffalo, and they beat Buffalo in dramatic fashion. But in that game, I was introduced to Epenesa. Epenesa is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Um, that dude, he's what's the best way to say it, dude? He's a disruptor who can do the dirty work, man. He can do absolutely do the dirty work. Like he's a physical guy. He beat Cam Robinson to sleep. Beat him to sleep, man. Beat him to sleep. I was watching the game and I was like, yo, who's this dude? Because I knew Russo and I knew some of their other guys, Hardy and things like that. I didn't know Epenesa, man. I didn't know. I might have seen him in college, heard the name, but I was like, he's not a known guy. Man, he came in and filled in and started that game for I think injured Greg Russo, and dude dominated Cam Robinson, dominated the game. He played he had a podium game. I think he had like 2.5 sacks. Hit Trevor. I hit him countless times. I mean, he's a great player. So I gave you all of that to say that he's a great player, man. And he will solidify that edge rotation. He would. He would. He's another one. Now, I don't know what he would cost, but he's definitely a third guy in the rotation. I don't think he's a starter or will get starter money. Some teams, who knows? Teams may, somebody they bid for services and he get his money up. He go somewhere and possibly be a starter. But as a third guy in the rotation at edge, absolutely, absolutely. That is something that can solidify the rotation, and you have no problems. No problems. There's he'll keep your guys fresh, and he'll come in and he does the dirty work. He mucks it up. He does. He does. As Ness like said, he makes a play. He's not just being a part of the play. He's there to make a play. Hustle, toughness. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but trying to think of what Jaguars will prioritize. Like you say, it's edge. So edge might not necessarily be a priority. I think the defensive tackle is. I think three technique is. But they re-signed Matt Dickerson. Eric Armstead is still on the contract. You still have a young guy in Mason Smith who has untapped potential. So you really don't know. You really don't know how they're going to value this, what it looks like on their board as far as who they're looking at and who they like and who they're willing to pay. So, but AJ Epinesa is something good to think about. If you don't know him, go look him up, go watch him. You'll see what I'm talking about, man. You'll see what I'm talking about. But we're going to leave it right there. And we're going to talk about one of Jacksonville's guys, Mr. Tim Patrick. And he's another one that is a free agent that, I hadn't touched on or talked about as far as should the Jaguars re-sign. And it's very simple. To me, it's youth versus experience. So do you want to get younger at the position? So you go draft a big body guy because he's the only receiver on the roster who's built like that. Like he's a big dude. He's a big body receiver, a possession receiver, good hands, and runs pretty good routes. He's a veteran, a leader. It's Tim Patrick has been a good player, a player who I thought that we wouldn't get as much out of as we got last year because he played well last year, man. And at times where he got the ball, he played well. So Tim Patrick is interesting because and to the price tag, he's not going to command a ton of money. And what are the things that he's doing that we don't see? Because it's easy to say, oh yeah, we can just go get a younger option, or we can just go get another guy. But what is he doing that the fans can't see, and what does he bring to the team that the fans can't see, that those in the locker room and within the organization sees on a regular basis? Because it's not always just about his contribution on the field. Of course, you have to perform. Like, if you don't perform, you're leaving. But you can't be so readily, can't be so ready to replace said production on the field, especially if you lose certain things off the field that he provides that are important. You can say what you want, but hey, well, like we said, this is a game of inches. So a lot of things are important that are not on the field, and because you don't, how has he been in the locker room? How has he been as a leader? What has he done with the young receivers? How he has helped them? How he's helped the young guys on the roster in general? Because I've heard pretty good things about him as far as who he is, who he's been off the field, and how he is with his teammates. It seems to be well liked among his peers. So, yeah, but Tim, yeah, I would say so. I mean, and I wouldn't be mad at him if they, got younger at the position and feel like they, upgraded it by going to draft a guy, because they'll probably keep what, 5 or 6 receivers, 6 receivers at most, probably 5, but definitely maybe have a 6 receiver, depending on you draft and you bring in the guy in, and you're not wanting to let go of a veteran. So let's say it's Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington. Travis Hunter is like, we could put him as a half, so that's 3.5. Tim Patrick, that's 4. And then you go draft a young guy, and then maybe pick up. You still have what's that, Joshua Cephas, who heard good things about. So who knows where he is in his development, and so you maybe keep 5 or 6 receivers. Throw a draft pick in there, or 2. Who knows? But it's feasible for them to bring back Tim Patrick, because he won't cost a whole lot, and he seems to be good for the locker room. What I call a glue guy. So um, you know, I think it's more likely than any of these others I talked about. Yeah, more likely than Isaiah Likely, Caleb Vaughn, and Epenesa, because he's already here, he's already in the building, and you know what you're going to get. He's steady, 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 steady. So, but man, we're gonna leave it right there. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social medias. Once again, my name is Brandon Lampley. Shout out to all of the new subscribers, man. I appreciate all of you. Hey, go. Hey, as long as you rock with me, I'll rock with y'all. Hey, shout out me in the comments. I'll be commenting, and hey, let me know anything you want to any subjects about Jacksonville you want to talk about, you want to hear. Whether it's about the players on the field, the coaches, the front office, stadium, shot count, you name it. Hey, we'll talk about it and we'll chop it up, man. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.